Welcome to Gold Derby. I'm senior editor Denton Davidson here with the winner of MasterChef 13, Grant Gillon from Altoona, Iowa, who took home the $250,000 prize and title of MasterChef in this United Taste of America season. Grant, it's the final moments. You're standing next to Kennedy and Jennifer, and then Gordon names you the winner. What goes through your head at that moment? The confetti's falling, your family's there. What are you thinking?
It's one of those moments that I know I'll never be able to experience that kind of just emotion ever again. My knees buckled, I hit the floor. Just all that hard work, everything that I've been striving for, trying to get this dream off the ground and really realize it, came to that fruition. And as soon as Gordon said, Grant, I'm just like, it happened. I think I said wow or are you serious or no way. Like it just didn't seem real in that moment. But just such a cool experience to have.
After you finish that three-course meal, Gordon, Aarón, and Joe go off to deliberate about who won the season. How long are you standing there just sweating it out? I mean, it felt must have felt like the longest minutes of your life.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. I wish I had an exact number for you. It felt about like 3 years. But I mean it's a big deal. They have to go back there and deliberate and make sure it's the right choice for everything. So yeah, definitely it was the longest, however many minutes of my life. Definitely nerve-wracking, but yeah, fun to kind of see all that happen.
What were you expecting? Because Kennedy had a very consistent season. You started really well. You had a few hiccups where you were in the bottom two for a couple of weeks in a row, and then you rose back up. Jennifer was up and down. So, what was your confidence level, heading into this? What did you feel like you had to do to win?
Absolutely. Going in, I knew there was going to be it was a no mistakes finale. That was really the only way I was going to get through this. I know how strong of a cook Jennifer is and how strong of a cook Kennedy is. They are just both tremendous cooks. And so there was really no room for error. I had to make sure I executed on each and every level, not only with seasoning, not only, with the food I was making, but with presentation and plating too. So, going into it, it was really, this is all or nothing. I've gotten to this point. It's all on me, but it has to be perfect.
And talk about that final three-course meal. How do you choose the menu, and what was the most difficult component that you made on that finale night?
Yeah, absolutely. So I really wanted to find a way to bring my Italian heritage in with the Midwest where I live now. And so, I took some familiar Midwest ingredients that you're going to see all around, but then gave it a little bit, of that my Italian heritage. And so that was kind of fun to come up with, to me, new kind of dishes or different ways of doing a dish, that I'm used to. But pasta was kind of what I was known for in the season. So I knew there had to be pasta somewhere in there, and it just kind of made sense for that appetizer. I don't get to use truffles that often, and so I'm going to use that, when I have the opportunity. And so that was nice and fun. And of course, had to bring pork into that entree because that's what I was all about. That's our number one protein. And I think though that dessert is, it's outside my wheelhouse. It's not something that I cook a lot of sweets. I love working with dough, with pasta dough, making bread and pizza and all that. But I'm not used to making cakes or making cookies and ice cream and all that. And so to attempt four different components on that dessert, I knew was going to be really rough, really time intensive. But I had it down to the minute. I knew what I needed to do, and that towel spike at the end, I think, kind of put the exclamation point on it that I thought I had done pretty well.
Well, and the way you made the ice cream, you hadn't done that before. And
No.
also it was there. It's funny because in the episode they show Reagan up in the balcony and she's like, I don't know if I like beer in my sweets. Um, so talk about that and how you ended up, taking that risk.
Yeah, absolutely. So no, had never made ice cream that way before. I've done it the normal time a lot, but I knew that ice cream needed to be a part of my dessert. I love ice cream. It's certainly my favorite dessert. So, to really represent myself and put myself on a plate, that's what it needed really to be. But, I had an idea of what I needed for consistency. I had, I've seen other competitors in previous seasons use that liquid nitrogen to make the ice cream. So I had an idea of what I needed to do. But I mean, it just all came together. It was, I could hear, I could hear Gordon and Joe and Aarón talking like, this is it. This is it's make or break now. If he adds too much, it's going to be grainy, and not enough, it's not going to get there. So yeah, getting into that one was definitely a risk, but it's something that needed to happen.
And the judges, I mean, this might be partly editing because I know that they, want to show how all the judges are advocating for different chefs, but I feel like Joe really was pulling for you and your menu, and just the way that he described it and how impressed he was by it. Um, what was it like for you, just being judged by them on a daily basis? We see it weekly. What was the most intimidating part of all that, and what was the most fun?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't like to upset people, and I don't like to let people down. And so every time I went up there, I was doing this for myself, of course, but I just wanted them to like it. I wanted to get as much good feedback as I could from them. Yeah, hearing that from Joe in the finale about the conceptualization of the menu and everything, just I mean, that made me feel so good because you don't get a lot of compliments out of Joe on the show. And I do agree with him. I think I did a really good job, not to pat myself on the back, but I do think I did a great job of making that menu and putting something together that flowed really well. But yeah, each and every time, walking up, setting a plate down in front of them, wherever it was in the season, I mean, just super intimidating. More so when you're in the bottom, of course, because that could be your ticket out of here. But I just kept to my stuck to what I knew and got through it. So that was super awesome.
Yeah, the nice Midwest guy. That's one of your highlight reels, that they keep showing, is when you stood up there and you say, "No more Mr. Nice Guy." What was that moment like?
Oh man, it was so funny. How I didn't, you know, how I didn't crack a smile during that, I'll never know. Because yeah, I'm a nice guy. I was trying to not. I mean, that they didn't tell me to say that. That was those are my words. That's what I said. But it was something where I just knew it's a competition at some point, and everybody knew that. We were all really good friends. But when it comes down to it, we're all trying to win the one prize. And there's second, third, we're trying to win. And so I think they knew that. I think they saw that, but it was, yeah, Grant's still going to be a nice guy. I'm still going to work on a team well with you. I'm still going to, give you a hug and have a shoulder to cry on when you need to. But, it's time to take me a little more seriously in the competition.
What did you think of that regional twist, that they put on you guys? You were sort of teams for the first half of the competition. What was that like, meeting the other chefs from the Midwest and then sort of competing in those sort of, buckets?
Yeah, I honestly loved it. I don't want to use the term safety net, but it was nice to have that team to rally around and know that if for whatever reason, if you messed up, overcooked something or whatever, you did have a chance to not get sent home just from one little screw up. And so, I liked that regional twist. I like, even somebody that, was from Illinois. We didn't, have anybody from the Midwest, from, Illinois represented, but they can still hold on to something because they are a part of the Midwest. And so I thought that was a super special part of the season where no matter where you're from, you don't have to have somebody from your state necessarily. You get a root for your whole region. So I was a big fan of it. I think that was a great way to accentuate different parts of the United States and, learn just a little bit more other than what you think about those places.
When you look back at the season as a whole, what was the most difficult or stressful challenge that you had outside of the finale?
Yeah, Hell's Kitchen, hands down, was the hardest thing I've ever done.
It left you in tears.
Yeah, there was a lot of tears in Hell's Kitchen that night. It's one of those things that I grew so much during this competition. I was able to learn so much, from the judges and from my fellow competitors, and I learned new techniques and I learned how to, put new flavors together. But nothing during those weeks leading up to Hell's Kitchen taught me to work a line, and so I felt like I grew so much as a chef. But that was just something that I was just not prepared for. Tried my hardest, but as you saw, I took the blame for it. That wasn't anything. I wasn't trying to throw Sav or Jennifer under the bus there. We succeed as a team and we fail as a team. And, I was happy to take the brunt of that, but that was something for sure.
There were a lot of tears this season, not just from you and not just that day. Just throughout the season, as people continued to go home, what made everyone so emotional, and what made this, such an emotional journey?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think everybody, not that they haven't been in previous seasons, but everybody this season was here for the right reason. They were here chasing passions, chasing dreams, but I think we all did a great job of also recognizing that with each other. So we were not only, there for ourselves, but we saw that other people trying to do something, similar to what we want, and really uplifting and working with each other. In my mind, I'm like, if I'm gonna have to be here for 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, however many weeks, I don't want everybody to hate me, and I don't want to hate everybody, and I think that's really what it came down to. Is like, yeah, it was a competition, but we were all there for one common reason. We all love food. We were all stuck in a hotel together after shooting, so it was something where we just kind of bonded. And I think that was something I'll always take away from this season is not only winning wonderful, but all the friends that I made, and still I'm in contact with now. It's just really, really awesome.
What has it been like watching yourself back on TV? Are you having like watch parties, or what's the response been like in Iowa?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been hosting watch party every week except for the fish and sporting food a week. That was one I figured I'd take a week off and watch under a blanket at my home. But yeah, I've been hosting watch parties at my work, and then somewhere local to Altoona where I live, pretty much alternating weeks. And it's just been awesome. I always tell people, like, this isn't a vain thing, but I think this is super cool for Iowa and for Des Moines and for my small town of Altoona. We don't get a lot of national attention, especially my little town. So I just want everybody to see that this is a cool thing, that Iowa has a lot to offer as far as food goes. The Midwest does, obviously, as well. But can't thank my hometown enough for being behind me, and just always being there for me and supporting me.
And you work with beer, you're a brewery sales director. What's your future with food now? What where do you want to go, and let people know how they can follow you on this food journey?
Yeah, absolutely. So as of right now, still at the same brewery. They were nice enough to support me through this journey as well, and allow me to leave and then come back to my job when I was back. So still with Kinship Brewing Company right now, but this really lit a fire under me. Being on MasterChef, and then let alone winning MasterChef now, is, I know this is what I have to do with my life. I needed somebody else to tell me it. I don't think I could come to that decision on my own. So at this point, it's we're looking at some places here in my hometown in Altoona to buy a plot of land, and hopefully get a restaurant up and running here in the next year or so. So I'm excited to be able to give that back to my community. Hopefully give my family a name here in town, and just be able to provide something really unique and fun for the place that I've lived my entire life.
So you might end up on the line even after that Hell's Kitchen experience.
I think I might find myself back on the line, but it'll be on my own terms this time.
There won't be anyone screaming at you. You'll have to scream at other people.
I don't want to scream, no, but yeah, Gordon, you're welcome back to Expedite anytime.
Well, hopefully the prize money can help you out with that and achieving that restaurant dream. And congratulations. It was exciting to watch for you and that family. We can see them on the wall behind you, and it was fun to see everyone, and well earned. Thanks for chatting with Gold Derby today.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Denton.